Today is 6th of November 2024. My name is Feni Twaib. I am the Chief Executive Officer of West Nile Regional Civil Society Network. But WESISNET is the preferred acronym to be used. Today we're here because we want to launch a Citizen Award. Let me read it verbatim, and if there are things, I will respond to them later. The citizens to be honored at National Citizens Integrity Award. In 2016, Action Aid International Uganda launched innovative initiative called the Citizens Integrity Award, aimed at incentivizing integrity in public service delivery to combat corruption today. This annual initiative garnered participation from 2,000 people nationwide. Insight gleaned from Action Aid International Uganda extensive anti-corruption efforts reveal that endemic corruption in Uganda stems from weak accountability systems, citizens' apathy, greed, impunity. These factors significantly contribute to poor and inequitable service delivery and the squandering of public resources. Over time, many CSOs and innovations have amplified the fight against corruption. Thus, expanding the anti-corruption movement, initiatives such as Evidence Method Lab and Agora have digitalized the anti-corruption fight and use innovative data analysis tools that uses graphics and provide safe spaces for citizens to engage in the fight against corruption. These initiatives have attracted a class of people including elites, civil servants, corporates who previously stayed away for anti-corruption fight due to fear of retaliation. The Citizens Integrity Award represents citizen-led recognition process honoring individuals who consistently demonstrate integrity in their duties. This event serves as a platform for citizens to challenge corruption and demand accountability by rewarding integrity. By celebrating and showcasing such exemplary conduct, the award aims to inspire others to uphold ethical standards, foster culture of transparency, and ultimately combat corruption in all forms. In 2024, Action Aid International plans to expand this initiative to include the private sector. Reorganizing the corruption syndicate often involves both public and private entities. This year's award will produce the 2024 business integrity category, aiming to encourage the private sector to reject corruption practices. In addition to partnering with traditional CSOs, will lead community mobilization at local level using mainstream media. That's why all of you are here. All sorts of partnership with innovative entities such as Agora, I know some of you know them, and Evidence Method Lab, with an aim of expanding participation to attract elites, young people, corporates and civil servants, leveraging on their innovative platforms of using digital spaces, graphics, and data analysis tool to provide evidence, safe space, and user-friendly platform to citizens. Based on the above background, West Nile Regional Civil Society Network with other partners, you see here we have with FIDA, Uganda, we have SEPAD, and the rest of the civil society organizations that are part of anti-corruption campaign, organizing to support this Citizen Integrity Award. The climax will be in December. That is the 4th of December. We shall have the award finally done. Proposed award categories for the event include Category 1, that is the Frontline Services Award. This will target public servants who directly interact with citizens at the point of public service delivery, and will focus on the sectors of education, health, jails, agriculture, works. Those are the frontline service providers. The three winners are proposed. One, we are going to have a female winner. We will also have a male winner, and we shall have overall winner in each sector. The second category is the management service awards. This will target public servants at management level, including permanent secretaries, parastatal executive directors, the senior officers at central government level, and chief administrative officers, department heads of local governments. The winners are proposed, one that is female and male, and overall winners both at central and local government level. Maybe I want to add briefly, because I'm concluding my presentation. Last year, in those categories, we had winners at our level in West Nile, and also we had one winner among the overall at national level. Last year we had Madame Josephine Anguchia, the former PRO of West Nile region, that is the police PRO, West Nile region. Citizens voted her as among the people that they trusted. The voting committee also sat and did the same. And we had Dr. Worodria Williams. I think some of you may know him. He works in the Mulago Hospital. So he was also chosen by citizens as someone of high moral integrity, and he was a winner from West Nile. And we had Honorable Wadi Kasiano from the side of the other public servants. So at national level, Honorable Wadi Kasiano still emerged among the best last year. So I felt it was good to mention this so that people know that there were people who were nominated, and citizens thought that they were the best people to be in. So I think I'll hand over to my colleague. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Rehema Minala. I'm a legal officer with FIDA Uganda. And straight to the next part is the 2024 award nomination and selection criteria. We are still on the Integrity Award, and this is the selection criteria. The nominees for the Integrity Award 2024 shall be judged on how they have lived the value of integrity in their public life within their community. To help with scoring the nominees, the selection committee will use an elaborate methodology comprising of reviewing personal statements and biography of nominees, written references from the peers, colleagues, and acquaintances of the nominees, interview of the nominee, and public reviews and voting for each of the nominees. The judges shall rate based on a scale of 1 to 5, as the highest score will be 5, based on the following factors. 1. Specific act of integrity. That one takes 20% out of 100. The nominee has demonstrated a specific act of integrity, honesty, and a moral courage. This may be the recovery of a lost item, report of anomalies, standing up against corruption, or valuing time commitment for public service. It may also be the individual who always honor their word, fulfilling their commitment almost without failure, like reporting to work on time, especially in difficult situations, going beyond the call of duty. These are specific acts in concrete situations when the person has truly chosen to be the best person they can be in accordance with human and ethical values. The second criteria is consistency and sustainability. This one takes 40%. The nominee has been consistent in applying the value of integrity and is honest, truthful, fair in his or her dealings. Rarely, other times, if ever, when this value has been applied on selective basis or has been compromised due to personal interest and certain influences or even threats. Meaning, this should be ongoing, not at a specific time you choose to be fair and honest. It should be a going concern, like they don't have to change because of situations. It should be something to define them. Then the third criteria is influence on society. This one also takes 40%. The nominee is a respectable member of society contributing his or her efforts, time, and resources to the betterment of his community. His contribution extends far beyond his or her home or work and can be seen in his or her active involvement in civic, economic, social organizations beyond the normal call of duty. Like I said, this goes beyond your normal call of work. So that's how these nominees will be rated on these three: 20%, 40%, and 40% again. Then we go to the eligibility of nominees. Nominees are drawn from Ugandan citizens who are currently or who have been in the recent past, who have held a position in public office, whether paid or voluntary, in public service at local or central government level. Nominees must meet the following minimum requirements. 1. Nominees must have undertaken an action or actions that have demonstrable influence on society, especially in promoting integrity or anti-corruption. Secondly, the nominee must consistently be recognized as distinctly exemplary and inspirational by peers and their community. Thirdly, the nominee must be engaged in public life, or the actions for which they are nominated should transcend personal interest or gain. Ineligible nominees. To safeguard the integrity of the award from potential conflict of interest and undue influence, the following categories of people are excluded from participating in the process and will be disqualified if their names are submitted for consideration. The first is staff, board of directors, and associates of partner institutions organizing the National Integrity Award. These partners are comprised of Action Aid International Uganda, Anti-Corruption Coalition Uganda, Transparency International Uganda, BDO East Africa, National Media Group, Inspectorate of Government, and Directorate of Ethics and Integrity. None of these should be like one of the applicants, or the names should not feature in any of the submissions. Secondly, self-nominating individuals. Individuals are not supposed to nominate themselves. I know we can be tempted to nominate ourselves. We feel like we've done it all, but you cannot do that because you have to be appreciated by the people you work for. Then members of the awards vetting committee and their associates, clearly they cannot, because it would be conflict of interest. Individuals whose work promotes a specific religious, political, or sectarian interest. Remember, we are looking at equality. We are looking at the balance for everyone to be able to, gender equality actually. This is for all. So we cannot be having individuals who are one-sided or who are looking at a specific interest. So this is to promote equality. Individuals with questionable integrity. This is an integrity award. Clearly, those who have questionable integrity cannot feature here.
My name is Onzia Topista. I'm the Executive Director for SEPAD West Nile. I will be taking you through the selection process, which is the most critical process after the nominations. How do we arrive at the best award persons? So the partnering organizations have done everything to put in place a transparent and objective process of selecting the awardee of this year's National Integrity Awards. To that effect, we would like to be held accountable for this process. However, we also acknowledge the limitations of time and other constraints in organizing of the award process. The award selection process will be subject to 4 phases. Now, the first phase is the initial nominations. The selection process begins with the nomination of award nominees, who should be individuals who have distinguished themselves as men and women in public office over a period not less than 5 years. They should be either currently or in the recent past served in public office, in local government or central government, like the ministry, department, or agency. And we shall have 4 categories of this award. which will include the frontline service providers, management obligations, and the political obligations as read by my senior colleague earlier. To nominate, adult Ugandans will complete a simple form which will be shared and also is available on our media handles, given the details of the nominee and the description of the reason for the nominations. Phase 2. This will be sub-regional shortlisting through public participation. Once the nomination closes, a screening of the nominees will be conducted at the regional level to come up with a shortlist not exceeding 3 nominees from each region and those online, meaning that we will receive nominations both physically or electronically. The top 3 nominees will be determined by ascertaining the individual with the highest number of nominations, and if they are uniform, like 2 persons tie or more than 2 persons tie in number of nominations, through subjecting the nominees to a public voting process conducted by partner media, like the radio or the TV, the newspaper, and other media fraternities. The 3 nominees from all the region will be forwarded to the National Vetting Committee, and all their particulars will be published on all partnering media platforms. Now we move to phase 3, which is the review by the vetting committee. Remember, this is at the national level now, feeding from the regional levels. Here the vetting committee, comprising odd number of either 3, 5, or 7 Ugandans with distinguished integrity and contribution in public office, will review the profiles of all the 3 nominees that have been forwarded from all the sub-regions. The review will verify the authenticity of the information submitted, ascertain any actual or potential conflict of interest, obtain further information on the nominee from third parties, and interview the nominees. The vetting committee will then score the total nominees against the set criteria and select the top 5 nominees per the categories of the award. The last and the 4th phase is now the final selection and the award. Here, the final selection involves the presentation of the profiles of the top 5 contenders through partner media platforms and inviting the public comments on them. The vetting committee will undertake the final rating that will be presented at the awards dinner on the 4th of December 2024. The overall winner in 2023 was Professor Balunywa Waswa, the principal of Makerere Business School, MOOPS, for his effort in revolutionizing business education and spearheading the private student scheme in Uganda that has become a model for many universities across the country and the region. So for more information, we have links and emails here, and also contacts that you can use to access more information. Thank you for listening.
Change is a process, and sometimes it can even take 100 years or more for anything to change. But the small gains you keep getting are achievements that you can ride on. We're aware that we keep registering the issues of corruption every year, But we're also saying, if we do what we're doing, I know there are people who care about their name, who are driven by virtues, who are driven by other things that are non-monetary in value, something of that sort. So I think since we started doing this thing, but I can assure you, the winners themselves. Let's start with the winners, those who have won. I don't think they will want to have they will want to see a situation where their name go down. Actually, from being good to bad. Our first change agents are those people who are awarded. My understanding is that they are the first people, because they know the community's eyes are on them. They know that the public knows about them. They know that all they do is being viewed and a lot of attention is paid to it. So I think they are our first success stories we talk about, because they already know they are there. Let's start with them, however few they may be. But also, to answer you, I think it has also given us a benefit of doubt to start conducting a research and assess what we're doing. Does it have, maybe one of the things is, since then, is there anyone who's inspired by that? I think those are the things that you've given us. I think we'll be doing it. But I can assure you it takes time. Sometimes change takes time. But I can assure you we'll keep registering some positive steps towards that. So let's have hope. Let's keep moving. Even when we were talking about the issue of the civil rights movement, those the rights movements in US, whatever, across the world, they took time, and I can assure you, change takes time. I have confidence that what we're doing is going to change something. So that's what I want to tell you. You also asked, Mr. Stephen asked about benefits. Actually, it has enormous benefits. First and foremost, the fact that the community members, the citizens, recognize you as someone who is serving them diligently. I think at personal level to those people, it is a honor. But also, to add on that, wherever you go, you have some bit of respect. You work with your head high. You can talk. We may not give them money, because ideally, if you're doing good thing, I mean, appreciation of saying thank you for what you have done is, I think, way enough. But we will give them things like certificates, so that they can have them to keep reminding them that for the good work they have been doing, this is what they have. So I think the recognition itself, the profiling in the media, and being known for doing good, I think it's a good benefit for them, which we would want to promote. We are not going to give them money, and we will not give, but we will keep talking about them. Even if they are long gone, their name will keep coming up because of the good things they have done. So yeah, there was a question you asked, why can't we have the region, why it's always in Kampala? Kampala is central because all other regions can come there. But we're also thinking, so if the overall winner perhaps comes from West Nile, it would be good to have the national celebration in West Nile. But these are things that we are considering. We would reach there. But at the moment, because we are doing it in all the 14 regions, sub-regions, so we think we can only converge in Kampala. But in future, we are thinking of taking it to the region. But these people are got across. I did tell you that Honorable Ward Kasano made it to the final list at the national level, right? He's from West Nile. He got support of people from here. So it was because of the support he got from here that he went to national level. So I think let's have faith in it. Since it is Integrity Award, we also hope there is actually integrity in all this. So whoever emerges the winner will be the winner. And I can assure you, last year among the judges at national level was also someone from the region. I may not disclose the name now because the person may also be one of the people at national level again. So it is inclusive. The vetting committee at national level, the criteria of getting them is highly inclusive. People without integrity are being awarded. So I think we would use so many approaches. As other people keep naming and shaming, some of us will keep appreciating those who are doing good. So all these are good approaches. We need to keep moving with them. All of them contribute towards fight against corruption. We hope that with what we are doing, at personal level, people will begin thinking that I think it's not all about winning. But let me tell you, the public court is much, much felt. I mean, it is much disorganizing to human beings than these other formal courts. You can win you can go to court and win. But when the moment the public believes that you are really not what you are, everywhere you go, that same will be there. So I think that's why what we're trying to promote. That much as they may maneuver in other ways, but the public is aware of what is happening. So that same will always be there.
We mentioned the people we are working with, and I remember one of the categories was Inspectorate of Government. This is IGG, and they are directly in line. They are a government body in line with corruption work, like they handle anything to do with corruption. So working with them closely means that there is no way that a nominee would come from a category that has already been blacklisted from the list, that they already know that this one has a shady name or has ever had a corruption incident. So confirmation with them is very important, because we cannot have a nominee who is already considered to be, or maybe was ruled to be someone who is corrupt, to lead the nominee list, or maybe to take the award. That would be very wrong. That's why we are working with the Inspectorate of Government and Directorate of Ethics and Integrity. These are very key bodies that are guiding us in line with this award. Then also, Robert, you said we have seen people with questionable integrity being reinstated. Yes, some of these issues really go beyond just what we see. For example, there are people who've really seen here in the city itself that they had issues of corruption. People even had some evidences and all that. But this is a process that takes time, especially when it's in the anti-corruption court. We have a whole court for anti-corruption that sits regionally. They even come to Arua here, like a special sitting. These special sittings take time. They don't happen every month. So you can have in a year like 2 sittings, and with this you cannot be able to conclude that case. Yeah. So with this, as they are going on with their investigations, and sometimes when the person is acquitted, you can't do much. They have to reinstate them. So the evidence, if it's not that strong enough to convict a person for corruption, you realize that the court can't do much, because court moves on evidence. So if it's not sufficient, then the person will be acquitted and reinstated, because there's no way they can be like got off just like that when they have been acquitted. So it is just a call to our people as well, that you should report cases of corruption, have evidence, sufficient evidence is the point, so that if the courts are going to deal with a person in that way, they should have enough evidence to take away such people who have tendencies of corruption. We need to get them out of society. Much as we are appreciating these ones who are doing well, the other ones are still tainting the image of the public service, which is something that we need to fight all together.
Because of the nature of the corruption in Uganda, we only see integrity in terms of monies disappearing and accountability is not coming through. But integrity goes beyond that. We look at even at the public offices, how is business being conducted? I think if we visit the public offices today, we can really appreciate that there is accountability, there is integrity. And so, as my senior already said, that some of the benefits, we may not be able to feel them now, but for sure we can be sure that there is at least some progress positively that is is changing. On the integrity issue, people who probably have questionable integrity, if you read the selection criteria, you will find that there is a process of scrutinizing the nominees. Allow me to read. To help with scoring nominees, the selection committee will use an elaborate methodology comprising reviewing personal statements, biography of nominees, written references from peers, colleagues, and acquaintances of the nominee, interview of the nominee, and public reviews and voting for the nominees. I think this is quite like robust, so that people who may have questionable integrity can be identified in this process. So I want to believe that the persons that will be considered are those who will be found worthy of the nominations award. For the regional balance, yes, having such an award within the region would really create more impact, and people would even appreciate it more. But I want to say that there are other innovations that other stakeholders can also come up with to ensure that we have such a similar intervention or initiative in the region. And I think last year we also had the West Nile Best Quality Awards that was specifically focusing on the region, and other innovations which we can now, it's a homework for us, think of how we can bring this home so that it can create a bigger impact on the people. And lastly, how can we trust the integrity of the committee? And I thank Council Rehema for bringing this out very clearly, that I know Ugandans have fears. They even fear their own shadow. They don't trust anyone anymore. But this is the committee is rated people who have tasted integrity, and we want to assure the public that the vetting committee comprises of honorable persons with integrity that has been tested and proved to be, you know, consistent. So let's not fear.
About the award of last year, as I did say, this was a public thing done, but I think these adverts will keep running on radios, and that's why we invite you people here, and they would have very close engagement with all the media houses, including this time around we're going to have online engagements, because we want to get information. Actually, what you are telling us here is last year there was a person who was voted to be the best, but afterwards when the community members realized and said no, I think there is a problem, and a lot of back and forth happened, and indeed the community members were true, so that person was disqualified. But what I want to tell you is it will all depend on the availability of the information these people will get. They are 3 in number. Of course, sometimes a lot of participants will come, and based on what it is, what I want to tell you is let's give information time, because I can assure you without information sometimes it gets hard. Some of the people we get, one other thing we realized last year which we are going to do, last year I think the time was a bit not too much, but this time around we have, that's why we're starting early. It is a month, so we shall have a lot of time for background check. So we'll keep, as media, asking you to work closely with us so that we get information that we can. I know it's going to share online forms, but also online complaint registration mechanism, so that if there, actually what is going to happen this year is, before we finally declare these people, we were thinking of, first of all, having interviews at the radio, so that radio people community members can give views. But also 2, we would have online engagements so that people give feedback to support these committees. These are only 3 people. They may sometimes not know all. Maybe others have been working in other areas and so forth and so forth. And if you notice, we may not disclose to you, but even this time around, our committee, I think, is well constituted with the people who have a lot of information, who have been in the region, who have been working closely with all the actors. We have got the committees that are very inclusive. So I think some of the issues, in case they come, I think they will be taken care of that way. First, the time was not enough last year, but also 2, I think the interaction between the committee and the public was not too was shortened by time. So I think this time around we are going to do a lot in that line. So there was the one asked about
the involvement of religious leaders.
So I don't know if we. But what I can briefly say is that we are going to work with them, but I think she can give you more information.
Yes, it is said that individuals whose work promote specific religious, political, or sectarian interests. So for the purpose of these nominations, yes, we can work with the religious leaders as being persons who have quite influence on the public. However, this can also pose a concern, especially in the public, if you know that in the country we have different religious faiths and political houses that we don't want to get directly involved with in order to make this fair, open. So we will be conscious on how to engage with the religious leaders, but not directly for the purpose of this award, so that we don't create uncomfortable feelings among the public. And I said that it's not just fighting corruption. It is like how many you are supposed to work for 8 hours. Do you now work for 8 hours? We had situations where every time drugs missing in the facilities. But do we hear these stories? You are the media houses who usually bring these stories to us out. If I ask you, the last 3 months, have you brought out a story on drugs going missing? Or the last 1 year, have you brought out stories of such? If you have not come across those stories, that is an indicator that there is some change. So I think these are some of the benefits which come with, and of course, as we are growing up, a child that would want to be sent very fast will get a lot of small rewards, and the rest eventually would also accept to be sent. And I think we will need to be patient to realize the kind of change, the ideal.
Institutions, especially to make some announcements in churches or in mosques, so that this gains ground. But like other members have said, this criteria is watertight, and we want to make it that way, so that people of integrity are the ones who are going to be awarded. For example, this is basically thrown to the citizens. It's the citizens who will be able to, select these people and forward their names. Like there was a nurse, a midwife, I think, here in Ediofe. Yeah. She wasn't awarded because the citizens did not submit her name. Yeah. So this is not on our side. It's basically from the citizens. They are supposed to be the ones to submit this. Even you are part of the citizens.
But good enough they are here. Let's amplify the voices so that people know what to do.
Yes.
That's what I want to say.